Hey everyone, and welcome back to Colleen Security's YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on a 2018 Nissan Murano. We're going to get set up and we'll get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to Colleen Security. Today we're going to be working on this 2018 Nissan Murano. We had a customer drop it off earlier this morning, and they were looking to have us cut the mechanical portion of the key as well as program the remote. Alright, so here we are over at our cutting station. As you can see here, to your right, we have the customer's key and the customer's remote. And then right here, we have our new mechanical key that hasn't been cut yet, as well as our new remote, which we haven't programmed. So key identifying factors on this, again, just like in our first video, we explained you want your button pattern and then you want the blade. So our button pattern on this particular remote is a 5-button pattern. Starting from the top, we have our alarm, trunk, lock, unlock, and auto start. It's a double-sided edge cut key, so nothing tricky there. We're going to set everything up on this Triton, and we're going to show you guys how to cut the mechanical portion of this double-sided edge cut key. Alright, so here we are over by the Triton. So what we're going to do for this vehicle is, again, we're going to search by automobile. And again, as I said at the beginning of the video, we have a Nissan Murano 2018. So we're going to go to N and click Nissan. Next, we're going to go to Murano, which is going to be right here. Okay, so 2005 to 2020, they seem to all use the same bypass key. And as the Triton's telling us, it's a Nissan TechCut. So we're going to click right here. And this is our operations page. It's going to tell us what type of jaw to use, what type of cutter to use, decoder, etc. We already have a 2.0 millimeter cutter loaded in the machine, as well as a 1.0 millimeter decoder. So we're good there. However, we do need to get the right jaw. So if you want a better look, we can actually maximize it. So it's telling us to use the D side of the S1 jaw and line the key, the end of the key up with the second red horizontal line. We'll give you a better view of that once we load the jaw into the machine. So let me do that next. We'll get everything set up and we'll be right back. So here we are at the bottom of the Triton. We already have the S1 jaw loaded. We're on the D side, as you can see. If you do want, for context, to use any of the other 3 sides, the A, B, or C, it's as simple as just rotating it. The device has some type of ball detent mechanism inside it, and it makes rotating it very simple and easy. Like we discussed before, we want to line the end of our key up with the second red line. Now, those lines are right here, here, and here. So we're just going to simply take our key, we're going to insert it into the D jaw, and we're going to line it up approximately with that second red line. Now also keep in mind, you do not have to be exact with this. As long as you're in the vicinity and you're close, the Triton will do the rest. So what we're going to do from here is simply hit the Decode button. Okay, so after hitting the Decode button, the Triton is just going to simply ask me if we're using the right decoder and to please make sure if we're using the right cutter, which we know we are. The decoder is a 1.0 millimeter, the cutter is a 2.0 millimeter. After I hit OK there, it's going to start decoding. So let's take a look at the process. So right now, the Triton is touching down, making sure that we're using the correct jaw. It's going to make sure that our key is in the correct position by touching down on the end of the key blade. and now it's going to actually go through the decoding process. So right now it's decoding each of the cuts, and that's it. Alright, so now that we're done with the decoding process, I just wanted to bring everyone back up to the top of the Triton just to show you where the machine is inputting the information. So as you can see here, right here, it is inputting all our bitting information, starting from the bow of the key all the way to the tip. So now that you know where the information gets stored and where you can find it, we're going to bring it back down to the bottom of the Triton. We're going to load our blank key and we're going to start cutting. Alright, so here we are back down at the bottom of the Triton, and as everyone can see, we have the key loaded into the jaw. So what I'm going to do off camera at the top of the Triton is just simply hit the cut button. Once I hit that button, it's going to verify that I have the proper cutter in place, and then once I OK that, the Triton should kick on, and just like it did with our decoding process, it's going to verify that we're using the proper jaw. It's going to touch down to make sure of that. And then once it finishes that process, it's going to assure that we're in the correct position by touching down at the edge of the key. Once that calibration process is over, it's going to touch down with the cutter and begin the cutting process. So now that we're done with the cutting process, I'm going to go over to the vehicle and we'll meet back up with you there. Alright, so now we're over by the vehicle with the new cut key in hand, and we're going to test it in the driver's side door lock to see how we did. So, this is the new key. I'm going to put it in, and there we go. So, perfectly cut key. So now that the mechanical portion is completed, we're going to move on to programming the remote. So before we get started with programming the remote, we just wanted to give you a brief description of the devices we're going to be using. So to your right, this big module right here is the Auto ProPad G2 Turbo. It is an OBD programmer, and we use it in-house to do all our remote programming and smart key programming. The cool thing about it is it actually comes with what's called a VCI Plus box, which is right here. And this allows us to wirelessly use the Auto ProPad. So when you hook up to the OBD port of your vehicle, you're actually plugging the VCI Plus box into the OBD port, not directly through the Auto ProPad. Now, for this vehicle, it's using a regular adapter. I believe it's called the OBD2-16, which we already have connected here. And we're going to connect that directly into the OBD port of the vehicle. And once we have that all established, we will start with programming the vehicle. Alright, so here we are at the driver's side door of our vehicle, and the first thing I want to do is show you where you can find the OBD port. So, it may be a little bit difficult to see here, but if I can get down under here, so that white plug right there, I'm going to try to point to it for you guys. So it's this piece right here. Alright, so that's your OBD port. That's where we're going to be plugging in our VCI box. So if I come back up here, the VCI box is right here. We're going to take our adapter and we're going to bring it down here, and we're simply going to plug it in. There we go. Alright, so it's plugged in, and you may have just heard beeping. So that's the VCI box registering that we are connected. Now, With Nissans in particular, I've found in the past, and really with every vehicle, but I've had issues with Nissans in particular. It is imperative that regardless of what programmer you're using, that you are pulling at least or somewhere right around 12 volts from the vehicle. So as you can see here, we're pulling 12.4 volts, which is good. That's what we want. Okay, everyone, so we're here inside our customer's vehicle, and I have the Auto Pro pad right here on my lap, as well as our two remotes on top of the steering wheel. We have the key that we've cut the mechanical bypass to, but it is not programmed yet, as well as the customer's key. So from here, I'm going to click immobilization. Okay, a quick disclaimer is going to pop up. I'm just going to hit agree. And from here, I'm going to select my make of my vehicle, which in this case is Nissan. It's going to load up. And from here, we have four options. You're going to want to click the third option, which is program keys. From here, we have two options. We're going to want to click the first option, which is select from type. From here, we have two options. We're going to want to click the second option, which is smart key system. Then we have four options. We're going to want to click the third, which is 20 pin code. And then lastly here, we're going to want to click the first option, which is type 1. So this step, it says that it's reading the system information. This step can take anywhere from 15-20 seconds all the way up to about a minute. So if it does take longer than, like I said, a few seconds or so, don't get concerned or worried. It's normal. So we're going to let it do its thing, and we'll get back to you in a few seconds once we are connected. Okay, so we just saw that it connected. Now we have two options: program smart keys or replace engine ECU. We certainly don't want to go into the ECU, so we're going to pick the first option, which is program smart keys. So from here, we're going to get our first step, which is switch the ignition off and turn our hazard lights on. Our ignition is already off, so all I'm going to do is turn the hazards on, which are located right here on the Nissan Murano. After I have those two things done, I'm going to hit OK. So from here, it's going to let us know that all our keys are going to be erased, even the customer's initial key, which is okay because we're going to reprogram them. And it's also going to let us know that up to 4 keys can be programmed to this vehicle. So it's going to let us know our second step, which is do not press the brakes. Press and hold the start button until the ignition switch is turned on. So our start-stop button's right here. I'm going to hold it down until I see lights on the dashboard. Okay, and I'm going to let it go once I see those lights. Now that that's done, I'm going to hit OK. From here, it's going to tell me to just simply switch the ignition off. So I'm just going to tap the start-stop button. Lights are going to go off. I'm going to hit OK. Now, this is the actual programming of the remote. So I'm going to take either remote, doesn't matter. The customer's initial remote or the one that isn't programmed yet, it does not matter. I'm going to take the remote and I'm going to take the Nissan logo right here at the top. And I'm going to line that logo up with the start-stop button down here. Okay, like so. And all I'm going to do is click it and then hold it there till I see lights on the dash. Okay, there we go. So this is taken care of. All right, so we're going to hit yes. And now it's going to ask us if our lights came on and if everything programmed okay so far. And we're going to hit yes. And now it's going to tell us to switch the ignition off. So I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to flip the key, line the Nissan logo up with the start-stop button, click it, and our lights on our dash are off. So now I'm going to hit OK. Now from here, this remote is done for right now. So it's going to ask us if we have any additional keys we want to program, which we do. So I'm going to take this remote and I'm going to put it to the side and I'm going to grab the other remote here and I'm going to say, yes, we do have additional keys. From here, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to take the Nissan logo. I'm going to turn the key around. I'm going to line the logo up with the start-stop button. And all I'm going to simply do here is hit the button once, wait for lights to turn on, and we're good. So with the lights turned on, we know we're okay. We're going to hit yes. Now from here, it's going to ask us if everything went accordingly. We're going to hit yes, and now it's going to tell us to switch the ignition off. Same thing. I'm going to flip the key, line the logo up with the start-stop button, and click the button. Lights turn off. Okay? Now I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to ask us if we have another key that we want to program. We do not. We did our 2 keys. We're done. So we're going to hit no. Now this is the final step. whatever key you programmed first. Okay, so this is the second one. This is the first one we did. All right, I'm going to take the first remote. Doesn't matter if you program 1 remote, 2 remote, 3 remote, 4 remote. You're going to take whatever remote you program first, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing. You're going to flip the key, line the Nissan logo up with the start stop button, and you're going to click it. You're going to hear the vehicle chime, okay, and you're going to see the lights turn on the dash. You're going to hit OK, and then you're going to hit the button one more time. And you should see on the dash, key registration complete. And that is how you program a 2018 Nissan Murano. What we're going to do from here is show you that everything worked with the ignition, with the door locks. So let us get set up, and we'll be right back. So we're here inside the vehicle. I have both remotes here on top of the steering wheel. What I'm going to do so we can test each remote individually and assure that both of them are working properly is I'm going to take one of the 2 remotes here and I'm going to simply place it outside the vehicle and I'm going to put it underneath the car. So I'm going to open my door and place it right there. So we've got one remote inside the vehicle. I'm going to have everyone focus over here on the door lock, and I'm going to hit the lock button. Okay, and unlock. Great. Okay, so we know that the lock and unlock buttons are working properly. Now let's test to see if the ignition will turn over and the vehicle will start. Great. Okay, so we know we have one working remote. Now I'm going to simply take this remote, put it outside underneath the car, and grab the other remote. Okay, here's our other remote. Again, I'm going to have everyone focus here on the door lock, and let's hit the lock button. Great. And unlock. Great. All right, and then lastly, let's see if the car will start. Great. All right, so both remotes are working, and that's the video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below.